I never got circumcised. I think I'm heavy.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're on the right path.
So, folks, welcome to another episode of the Bardi. Can you see yourself right in there? I like your angle better than mine. Oh, let me sit up. The way I'm sitting, it looks like I have a nut sack for a throat. That's better. All right, so folks, here we are with another episode of the Bardi Shop. This is the first ever outdoor. You're breaking my cherry right now. It's the first ever outdoor episode.
Yeah, you know.
It's got to be, what, 60-something degrees outside. We're out in Western Coventry. The air is clean. Someone's blowing their leaves.
We're out with nature.
I fucking love it. It is gorgeous outside. I'm sitting here with Lareto. Please pronounce your last name for me.
Guglietta.
I know it. I'm just afraid, because I'm on my third glass of wine, that it's going to sound like I'm choking on marbles. So, Lareto and I, what did we just figure out? 16 years ago we met?
2004.
Jesus Christ.
I was 24, coming into performance. I
Yeah,
just turned 40.
Oh my God. You know what's funny? I've had 1, 2, 3, 4 guests on the show, so maybe 5, that are all customers. And I've known you guys for like a better part. Like, I'm 42. I've known you guys for a better part of my life.
Well, going into performance was part of the gig at the prison. That was, especially at Max. We knew all those guys.
Oh, you guys, I had so much fun. I was confident that if I went to Maximum in the security, if I had to go to Max in prison, I would have been okay. I could have been the top guy.
You've been straight. Yeah, I know a guy. Hey, you know this guy?
Typical Rhode Island. Yeah, I know a guy.
That seems to be the way we work around here.
By the way, man, this house, I'm incredible. So everyone knows by now in the show that Brianna and I are going through construction renovations. I literally want to torch my fucking house right now after seeing A, where you are with the land you have, but B, you have such a funky, awesome layout in the house. It's gorgeous.
It's a bottom of the top type of story. I mean, neither me and my wife are supposed to be here. So we're just not. We're just not. That's my man.
Yeah.
What's up?
So when I get a text message, it's Donald Trump. I should probably shut my phone off. Who cares? It's Trump. I like it.
At least now I know what's going on.
I love that you said that, because when I first started doing the podcast, I did an episode where I talked about my arrest when I was 22 and all the bullshit.
Yeah.
The title of that show is "Started from the Bottom, Now I'm Here." So
Drake knows something.
Hey,
I mean, I don't know if he knows a lot.
Keep an eye on that. There's an on/off button on that microphone.
It's on. But
Yeah, no, it's on. So just when you hold it below it, because I usually have the mic set up in like a boom arm.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I almost just shut mine off.
All right. We're back. I think we're good.
And we're back.
So, yeah, she grew up in Gaspee Point in Warwick. Very, modest means,
Same thing. We're all middle class.
Shit. I actually grew up with parents who had whatever they wanted, and they had it all, but they weren't interested in me at all.
Really?
So, I was just kind of there.
I mean, I don't want to ask something that might strike a nerve, but like, were you unplanned? Was it just?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I was too.
Then I think it turns into a battle of which parent can outdo the other. Like,
is that what it is?
I'm gonna do better. He's gonna be better with me. But in reality, you're like, okay, well, this is bullshit, and I'm just pissed off anyway. Which, we're here now. This is all that matters. We fight through it all.
I'm a firm, and only because I've been through, and again, I compare situations because I find that the more of these shows I do, every single one of us who have made something of ourselves or are making something of ourselves, we all have some type of strife. Yeah, these lights are going to bring a lot of bugs. You just got the kamikaze of moths. We all have one thing in common, is that we've all been through something. Like something, you hit that point in your life where you have that choice to either fold up shop and give in and turn to the life that really nobody wants, or you could use that angst, that pain, that suffering, that frustration, that feeling that you're never going to amount to anything, and you could turn it into, I mean, you have a beautiful, like, you guys have a beautiful home, you're a beautiful couple, you guys have 2 phenomenal dogs. I mean, it's just, there's certain people in life who just allow what we're talking about right now to dictate who they are for the rest of their existence.
I'm a threeper.
A threeper?
I use the word a lot. It's a 3%er. It's used by military people because we're the 3% of this country that are willing to pick up arms and fight regardless.
Yeah.
But in my life, like, I'm not supposed to be here. Like, I had to climb over a lot of shit and crawl through a lot of, like, you think about, we're here now, right? The 4.5 years active duty, I did a 1.5 years in the Middle East. I worked 6 years at maximum security at the ACI, and now I've been a Pawtucket Firefighter for 10, going 11 years.
And I don't mean to interrupt you,
No,
but
no.
before we go any further, anyone who isn't familiar with Pawtucket, because I have listeners on three continents right now. So anyone who doesn't know what Pawtucket is, it's a low-income area in Rhode Island, incredibly tough, a lot of drugs, a lot of violence, a lot of shootings, a lot of stabbings. So it's a very downtrodden area. So to go from your childhood to the military, to come back into the prison, and then to go right to Pawtucket, like you've gone from one extremely trying environment to the next, to the next, to the next.
I've seen every miserable way a person can die on this planet.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And, you know, it is what it is. I've seen guys hanging in their prison cells. I've seen sons 22 years old dead of an overdose in front of their mother. The mother has no idea they're a junkie. They have no fucking clue. They have no idea. And they're sitting there. My son would never, while he's literally agonizingly breathing on the floor, because he did.
Yeah.
And we know it.
Yeah.
We know what happened. But we're not going to ruin her life. We're going to just ride it out. You know what I mean?
I watched a guy overdose outside of a store once in Connecticut. Just stooped over, the drool, the snot, everything just pouring out of their face, just laying there like life. I thought he was dead.
Yeah.
I called the rescue. By the time they got there, he'd gotten up and he just took off.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's a sobering
it's tough
experience
for people to see.
Yeah.
You know, and I work with 150 guys. You know, Pawtucket Fire Departments, we're gangsters. These are bad dudes. These are dudes that see it all every day, and it's terrible, and it sucks. And you know what? More attention needs to be brought to that. More attention needs to be brought to the trauma that these guys witness on a day-to-day basis.
So I know you know I did that show Friday night with a North Kingstown police officer, and
Yes.
Obviously, demographically speaking, there is a huge difference in the demographics in North Kingstown to Pawtucket.
Right.
But one of the things we discussed, and obviously being first responders, one of the things we talked about was, I think the general public, you see all the shit on the news about defunding the police, you know, municipalities, you guys never get your due. You know, literally, you guys are the frontline defenders for COVID. Whether or not we believe it's as serious as it is, the fact of the matter is it's out there, it is what it is. So every single day you're out there, you have that, what is it, that elephant fentanyl, that it's powder, so it gets through the gloves, it gets on your skin, you overdose. I don't think people, the general public, have a really good grasp or respect for what you folks do every single day. And the trauma, I referred to it Friday night as mini traumas. You guys are constantly subjected to things that would scar somebody for a percentage of their life, and then you go from that one. If you're lucky, you go back to the station, grab a meal, clean up, and then you're out doing it again. That's if you're lucky, you get that little break.
Yeah. The worst day I've had on the fire department. I want to say 10 o'clock in the morning. I found a guy that was on my crew. He retired 6 months maybe prior, and he's dead in a hammock, squatting in some dude's yard. Fucking wrecked. He's on shit. I don't know what he's on, whatever. He's dead. I walk in, I open the sliding door. It wasn't a slider, it was like one of those pull screen doors. And when it slammed shut, I disturbed all the flies that were on his dead body.
Oh,
so it was like the swarm.
It's like that movie Seven.
So that afternoon, we're talking beginning of the shift, end of the shift. We get to the end of the shift, little kids get run over at Newport Avenue. Little kid at the end of, I forget which cross street it was, one of the side streets.
It's a busy area.
Ave. Kid gets hit by a car, the woman hits him, she drives straight through Newport Ave and into the real estate agency across the street. So the kid is laying on the ground and he can't see.
I always check the battery. So.
Nah, no worries. He's blind. He's blind from the trauma. From the trauma that he just took, he can't see. His brain is swollen, his eyes don't work. So, you know, we're working him now, and, you know, I only remember this because I blew the pump in the truck that day. Probably the biggest mistake I've made since I've been on the fire department. I was worried about that kid, and I burned the pump in the truck because I ran the pump to get the hoses ready in case fire breaks out in the building that this woman just drove into.
Oh, Jesus.
So now I'm worried about the kid. The morning was what it was. My mind isn't where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So, you know, no big deal. It's taken care of. You know, user error. My fault, I suppose.
It happens.
But the kid's father shows up. He's freaking out. They jump in the rescue. They go. I end up seeing on the news a couple of weeks later that the kid healed. He was fine. He's like an amateur boxer. Like,
No shit.
Really gifted. Like, this kid was talented. piece of that. So for every nasty, awful, ugly thing you see, we get a piece of seeing somebody that keeps going. Because we were there. Because we showed up.
You know,
Because we did our job.
I think, and I think that's the problem I have with a lot of people not paying the respect, or the public viewing and speaking about people in municipalities the way they do, is because just that story right there. How many people, like I have a desk job inside of a corporate office. I don't even want to think about how many people I work with that would go to that scene and could just completely freak out, lose their mind, not know what to do, scream, cry, panic. You guys roll up, you're trained professionals, you have all the equipment you can need to kind of sustain this child's life till he gets to the hospital, and you just, like clockwork, like machinery, you guys just flow through the process and get it done.
Yeah, it's all procedure for us. Like we're trained a certain way, and when we get there and we do it, it's always the same.
Yeah.
You know? Like when I get in the back of the rescue, I'm an engine guy. Like I'm not a rescue guy. I just get back of the engine. The back of the rescue, and the guys in there usually have a quarter of the time of the job I do.
Yeah.
But they're rescue guys. They know what the fuck they're talking about. Let me know what you want me to do. I'm down. Let's go. You know, I've been out of that situation for a long time, and I never was. I was very fortunate. You know what I mean? I was fortunate enough to bid to an engine company straight out of the dispatch room.
Yeah, normally you start right out on rescue.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
Overnights rescue.
And that's punishment. That's pain. Those guys are badasses. They are what they are. They're badass dudes. They go all night and they get 10 calls a night and they take it in the face and they go with it and they're champs about it. Those guys, they do it.
You know, I know we talked about this already once, but the fact that Brianna and I have the work going on at the house, we have 3 Warwick firefighters who are doing the work. Yeah. So they were all pumped. They couldn't wait for me to sit down and do this episode because you got that. All the stations in Warwick are going to hear this.
Yeah.
But they were. I give these guys a lot of credit. And I always bust their balls. I'm like, you guys, they work 24 hours. They'll do a 24 hour, then they get a day off. Yeah. So these guys will work 24 hours, go home and sleep for an hour, hour and a half, come to my house, work 6, 7, 8 hours doing construction, then go home, sleep for a few more hours, go back to the station that night. Yeah. I don't see these guys eat, sleep. I think they've been in my house for like 6 weeks. I think they've used a bathroom 3 times. And you know this, as guys who are into health and fitness, we eat on a schedule. You know, we have our routines, we have our rituals. Yeah, it's just, I have so much respect for guys in your profession, and if nobody takes anything else away from the situation, I want you to know, like, as difficult as it may be to talk about some of these things, I think it's important because people need to hear the sad truth. I don't think what people catch on the news does any justice. Whenever you see, like that accident you just talked about in Newport Ave, if you saw it on the news, what'd you get? Maybe 10, 12 seconds?
And you're not paying attention.
You talk
you're half paying attention.
Yeah, you talk to an eyewitness, but you're not paying attention because you're worried about
people are like,
traffic.
Oh, that's terrible. You didn't have to look that little kid in the face while he's screaming, I can't see, because he just got hit so hard that his brain's swollen and he can't see.
That's the part that irritates me is when it comes around to your arbitration, your contract negotiations with the unions and so forth. The state, Gina, Raimondo, all these people who just don't have your backs. Yeah. It makes me fucking sick.
People do. Yeah. People do. I have an amazing executive board.
Good.
Like the best of the best. I have no doubts. You know what I mean? We elected the right guys into the right places to fight for us.
Yeah.
And now we have no doubt. You know, it's not always that way. Sometimes, you know, you get into a situation where you're like, I don't know if this guy's really going to get the job done. And then you get to that settled situation where I am right now, like some guys that I went through the academy with are at the top of my executive board now. And I know what they are, and I know the human beings that
you know they got your
I know
back.
what they stand for on their cellular level like I do. And whether we all agree on everything or not, I know that I don't have to worry about anything anymore.
Yeah.
My vote was placed in the right place.
Yeah.
These guys are going to do the job. These are the right people. And I think from top to bottom, as far as the Pawtucket Fire Department goes, we're straight. We're good. We got the right guys. But not everybody's so fortunate.
What would you say to the high school kids out there right now that may listen to the show or watch us on YouTube that are considering a career as a firefighter? What advice would you have for them getting into it now?
There's no better job in the world.
Really?
There's no better job in the world. You'd be hard-pressed to talk to a firefighter who hates what he does. And if he does, he might just be upset that day. Because we got a lot of different shit on a day-to-day basis. Last cycle, we had 3 fires. 3 shifts in a row, 3 fires. Last week. Like, I've been in, you know, a lot of situations, and you know, we count on each other, and we really don't have to worry about much else. Like, the news is the news. It is what it is.
I fucking hate the news.
Defund the police, whatever. You people don't want to live in a world without police. You just don't. Because then
Look at
when
Portland, look at
somebody's
Minnesota.
violating you, what the fuck you want to do about it?
Nothing. You gonna call a social worker?
Nobody's saving you.
Yeah. It is what it is.
It's a necessary evil, and are there bad people? Of course there are. But my father's a police officer. I've been around cops my whole life. Like, I know more cops than anything else, easily. And they are good fucking guys.
Yeah, they
They're
are.
guys that are willing to go fight for you.
You know,
Because, for fucking 50 grand a year, they're gonna go fight for you.
they
don't know you.
All we have to do to talk about your profession, police, firefighters, is, and I think a lot of people in this country are now lost sight of this.
Yeah.
September 11th, 2001, you watched hundreds of police, firefighters from all the boroughs, all kind of converge on the same spot, the two towers in Manhattan, and ran into a building when everybody else on that island was running for their lives in the other direction. Guys in your profession ran into that building, knowing that there was a high probability they weren't going to come out, or they were on the ground trying to get people to safety when the building started to collapse. It makes me absolutely fucking sick to think that we're at this point now in society where we're against these people. Like, they're the problem all of a sudden, but not the people who do a poor job of raising their kids. That's. And again, I don't work in your profession, but I have a profound respect for what you do. It irritates the living shit out of me that this is even a topic of discussion.
It's all how we're raised, I suppose. It doesn't matter where. It doesn't matter how. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
If you're raised properly, you act different. Like, I'm a firefighter in Pawtucket. The majority of our clientele is, minority, Hispanic, Portuguese, whatever the case may be. Doesn't matter. African American, whatever.
But your job is
Our job is the same every day. I'm gonna save you regardless.
It doesn't make a difference.
If you were purple when I show up, I'm gonna save you. That's what we do.
You say
That's
people.
our job. That's what we're trained to do.
You say people once they're dead. Like, it just you show up. People are DOA, and you're still hitting with Narcan or whatever
Well,
else.
that's the thing. Like, it's not us. We don't take a lot of the heat. We catch some bullshit. It is what it is. But the cops.
But you work hand in hand with them.
Yeah, but I was a police officer in the military, in the Air Force, and then I worked at the ACI in Rhode Island in maximum security for 6 years. I'm a cop. My soul is a cop. It is what it is. But I'm a good fireman, and I know where my place is. But cops, there's guys out there that want to stretch and flex and whatever the case may be, and that's fine. But that doesn't even represent 2%.
Not even.
Of the 100% of guys and girls that are out there busting their nuts and getting swung on and spit at and kicked and punched and pulled muscles because they got fucking swung at. It's garbage. It's a narrative.
Yeah.
It's a narrative. Cops as a whole are amazing fucking human beings. And the sooner we all realize that, the better we'll be. But right now, they don't match the narrative.
No, not at all.
The narrative is that,
they're the problem.
And the thing is I don't want to say narrative like it's a racial thing, like cops, African American. I have so many black friends that are amazing, successful, wonderful people. I have 10 friends I can think of off the top of my head that are African American police officers.
Yeah.
It's different, and I watch those videos, and I watch these videos of these white women spitting in the face of these black police officers.
Can't.
And they're like calling him Uncle Tom and this, that, and the other, and I'm like, who the fuck do you think you are?
I know.
That's a man with a heart and a soul, and he's an African American man who's out there fighting for the right for you to be spitting in his face.
I know. He's literally standing there so you could disrespect him the way you're disrespecting him. It's nauseating.
And I've fought and I've bled with every color, every race, I don't want to get into detail like every race individually, because they've been all of them. The military, you bleed green. That's what we are.
Yeah.
Once you're there, you bleed green. Everybody that's wearing your home team uniform And that's why I have this sense of patriotism that I do. Whether it's misdirected or not, like, I was 20 years old when I went into basic training.
What pushed you to want to go to the military?
I was one of the bottom 10% that didn't really have a choice.
Really?
My life was heading the toilet either way.
Just so we're on the same page, I was in your shoes.
Yeah.
I was in your shoes, and I didn't have the balls to make the decision that you did. I stayed here, and I dug it out. One of my biggest regrets in life is not going to the military. Even if you just did the minimum of the 4 years to go in to get like the discipline and to learn the respect for this country. That is one of my deepest regrets, is that I didn't actually pull the. I went and took the ASVABs.
Yeah.
I could have been a triage nurse. I scored great on the, and I didn't have the fucking balls to actually go. I can admit that now as a 42-year-old husband, but no, I hate that I didn't have the balls to do it. But I give you a lot of credit. But
as a 40-year-old man, I know now what I'm capable of and what I was capable of, and it sucks. You know, you think about the things you didn't do right.
Oh yeah.
And it is what it is.
Hindsight's always 20/20.
Like, I didn't decide to take life seriously until I got on that plane to San Antonio and somebody started fucking screaming. It is what it is.
But
from that moment forward, my life was a different place.
Mm.
You know, and that's, you don't get a chance to change your thoughts. Usually, if you're 18 years old and you're a fuck up, you're a fuck up.
Yeah, that's pretty much
you
how it
will
goes.
be a fuck up. You will end up in prison. You will end up working some menial fucking job. I slid through. I'm telling you, when I say threeper, I'm a oneper. I've slipped through so many fucking cracks that I just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I don't have to be afraid anymore. I can live my life for whatever the fuck it's supposed to be and say whatever I want to say. And we live in a world full of people who project.
Yes, they do.
Am I guilty of that? Absolutely. Absolutely. I had bad days, and I probably come off a lot uglier on bad days than I do on good days.
I project when I'm around you because you're so much leaner than me.
You know what? You could probably bench 100 pounds more than I can. So I don't want to talk about it.
I have a torn pec to prove it.
Fuck my life. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, too. It's like, I had a bunch of fucking surgeries, and, like, I've had my spine worked on twice, and I've had my left knee redone twice.
How'd you hurt your spine?
It was an Air Force injury.
Yeah.
It was during a training exercise. I went prone with full ruck on, and I was loaded up. And I just kind of, like, in the words of Rob Dyrdek, I scorpioned.
Oof.
And my bottom disc just exploded.
Jesus.
So, yeah, I've had 2 surgeries on that, but it's on the up and up. I'm at the gym. I do what I do. Like, I'm broken, but nobody told me yet.
No, listen, I'm with you. See, I look at injuries as minor setbacks.
Yeah.
When I get injured, like right now, like I tore my pec last week,
Yeah,
dumb. By the way, I'm like, hey, cool, I'm 42. I benched 285 for 10. On the 10th rep, I'm an inch off my chest. I felt my left boob dip into my armpit and then come back up.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah, it was fucking horrible.
It's not right.
I literally shot up off the bench. I'm like, Brianna, she wrapped me up. I look like fucking RoboCop. I'm like, get my elbow wraps off. I'm like, something's wrong. My tit hurts. So I look at it this way. I'm fortunate it didn't completely detach. I could be in surgery this week.
A lucky guy.
I'm incredibly lucky. Yes. I look at it as, okay, it's time to... Now, am I going to stop because I'm injured? No. Change the game a little bit. No. You just alter your strategy. That's all.
Both my knee surgeries, I think I was back in the gym within 2 or 3 days, just hobbling back and forth to the weight rack.
Because we don't know anything else.
Well, you know what? It's like, I didn't have any confidence in my life until I got fit.
Mm-hmm. Same way.
But once I did, I'm 40 now. Like, people don't stay fit anymore at 40.
No,
like,
we're on peak right now.
Some guys do. Some guys, it matters. But for the most part, guys start breaking down now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, everything hurts, I'm broken, I don't want to get off the couch and go fuck yourself.
Yep, no, I can't.
Nah, I'm good, dude. There's still young Thundercats that want to take my spot. I'm ready to
Thundercats.
go.
I want to be Panthro.
Nah, I don't want to be any of that. Listen, that show was awfully homoerotic in retrospect.
I changed my mind.
There was a lot of panties and, like, manties and that He-Man, the 80s is just weird now. That's fine, though.
You look back at it now like it was dope when you were going through it when you were a kid. But you look at the 80s cartoons now.
Why was everybody in their underwear?
I don't know.
I don't know what the fuck was
I don't know.
on.
Everybody was on juice and in their underwear.
Everybody was loaded on test and in their drawers.
Go watch Heathcliff. Tell me that cat wasn't on Decca.
Oh, Garfield and Heathcliff.
Listen, so I'm a big believer in no matter I don't care how bad of a day or a week or injured I am or hurt. Like I pull my back, I slip disc constantly. The fact of the matter is, we have two young, vivacious, beautiful wives, who I think that plays a big part. Like I am deathly afraid to not stay in shape, to not stay. My wife's 9 years younger than me. You know what I mean? Like it's just I have to, even if it's not just for me. Like she married me at a certain physicality and a certain age. In my head, I have to stay the way she married me, so that way that kindle, that spark doesn't dwindle. That's another big motivating factor for me.
Like I told you, I knew your wife before you met her.
It's true.
When she was the Citizens Bank girl.
I thought you were gonna say Foxy. Jesus.
Come on, man. I don't know nothing about no Foxy over there.
I don't either.
I don't hand out my money.
I've read about it on Google.
Listen. We're going straight to the top after this. Me, you, and Rogan. I'm telling you.
You and I should do a show with Rogan.
I'm telling you. Dude.
I tweeted at him.
Listen, it would look. Listen, I understand the optics are not right, but my hair is not like this because I choose it to be.
I shaved my head.
Yeah, I don't have a choice. All right, the front of my head looks like Florida.
When I started saluting the flag back here, I said, "Fuck it, I don't want to be that 42-year-old Italian that looks like he's 66."
You have to know when to own it.
Yeah, it is what it is. You know, they did studies. Bald men are voted they're sexier than men with hair.
Yeah, no shit.
I don't think that goes for
You can't
Swedish
hide
men.
nothing like this.
No.
Everything's in your face. Every crevice, every dimple, my head is fucking
Yo,
huge.
you see this mole on the top of my head?
Yeah, it's all good.
So I had a girl I worked with when I was at Cox Business. She says, she goes,
Say Cox.
Cox. When I was at Cox Business.
This is taking us so time.
She goes, you got a mole on the top of your head. I said, no, I fucked. I go, all serious. I said, don't get offended. I said, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I said, but I have, that's a cancerous mole.
Oh, Jesus.
I said, I know you didn't mean anything by it. Bro, she immediately froze, like broke down. Like, she's like, I'm so sorry. I said, no, I'm just kidding. I said, I'm growing horns. I said, that's all that is.
You're going straight to hell.
I told her it was cancer.
Jesus Christ.
Bro, the look on her face, she went from Dominican brown to ghost white in a fraction of a second.
I just don't want to get hit by the fucking lightning bolt that's coming down right now.
You know, we're all good.
Oh my God.
That's what you get for pointing out my mole.
Listen, we're big-headed motherfuckers and we're going to own it. And
Yeah, it is what it is, man. I don't care.
My hair started falling out a long time ago. I just didn't decide to own it until 10 years ago. It's fine.
Isn't it easier not getting haircuts?
Yeah, razors are fucking expensive, but yeah, it's fine.
Dollar Shave Club.
I'm on one of those.
I started using Dollar Shave Club because my brother shaves his head.
Yeah.
He suggested it.
Yeah.
The Executive, 6 blades.
That's the one I got.
Yeah, it's dope.
Yeah, it works out. We do good.
I could shave the fucking prick hair on a chinchilla if I wanted to. I know that's a weird reference. I'm just saying, if I was at Petco and the chinchilla needed a shave, I could do it.
Done. So yeah.
Remember I told you before the podcast started, these things tend to go all over the place.
Hey, listen, we're here. Like, this is so far out of my fucking comfort zone that the wheels are off.
I will say you were one of the last people I ever suspected that would do a podcast.
I suffer from pretty severe PTSD. I'm hypervigilant. I think everything is more serious than it is. My dogs are waving at us through the window.
He's got 2 beautiful, what kind of dogs do you have?
Boxers.
2 beautiful boxers, and one of them is looking up in the window right now, just watching, scratching in the window like, what are you doing, Dad?
But, yeah, this life isn't skin-free. We got skin in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a little at a time.
Yeah.
Like, I work with a lot of young kids now that, you know, they got hearts. They're Thundercats. They're ready to go. But eventually, you gotta hope that you do things right and you take care of yourself, because this shit breaks you down.
Of course it does.
And coming from let's see, how do we put this? A less than ideal childhood, without getting into any kind of grand detail. My parents just weren't ready, and I spent 20 years of my life suffering for it. Yeah. Okay, so that's all.
And you've seen this, and I'm assuming you've probably crossed paths with people in similar situations in the military, at the prison, in the fire department. You know what I mean? So and again, I said this before, it's just the more and more people I talk to, you realize that we all have been through some type of trauma or are currently going through a trauma.
And that's the thing. Like
Talking about it helps, though.
everybody's had everybody's got their own story.
Mm-hmm.
You can't treat anybody else like their story doesn't matter because you don't know what it is. You know what I mean? And you're interacting with so many fucking people that it's hard to try to keep track of everybody's story.
How were you like in high school when you were in your like your teens and early 20s? Were you like brash, kind of a punk? Were you a ball buster? Like what were you like?
I can't even explain it, man. I went to, I want to say between 5th grade and 9th grade, I went to 5 different schools.
Really?
So I settled in at Pawtucket.
Oh, you're out in the woods.
Pawtucket High School, yes sir. Gloucester.
I lived in off of Field Hill Road in Situate before I moved to Coventry.
Good, man. Pawtucket is an amazing school. It's you know, I had to go to a bunch of different places. There was moves, and there was changing parental guardianship, and there was all this other bullshit. And that wears you out, and you know, things aren't always ideal. You know what I mean? You do what you got to do. You get by. You graduate high school barely
Same thing.
by the hair on your ass. Yeah, I was like 125 out of 175. I was a consummate C student. But
we don't learn that way though.
yeah,
It's
my
not our nature.
ADD was so bad. I took in nothing in high school.
But did they know what that was back then?
As long as I could pop jokes and fucking tell a witty one-liner here and there, I was good. I can go home. Let's go. I'm out.
That was me. That was my defense mechanism.
Yeah, and the thing is that it's like I was telling my wife and her friends not too long ago. Concussion protocol was a lot different back in the day.
Dude,
I vividly remember a month of my senior year of wrestling. I was all division in Rhode Island twice. Wrestling was my life. I love it to this day. I'm still one of the only people that's watching fucking college wrestling on ESPN. So, my last 2 months of my senior year, I think I got concussed so bad in football that my matches were having to be stopped because I had clear liquid just pouring out of my nose. Like a nosebleed.
Yeah.
But water clear.
Yeah.
And it took me until I was 38 years old to look it up and find out why. I was leaking cerebrospinal fluid.
Jesus.
Because my brain was so swollen that it was pushing the fluid out through my sinuses.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's the difference between concussion protocol in 1998. I finished those matches. I never once got taken out of the gym. Not once. Not once. Never. Never even stopped the match. I probably won most of them. I was wrestling was my life.
It's horrifying to think that we grew up in that era. You know,
it's different, and they don't understand it. Like now,
I have blind spots in my memory.
I have traumatic brain injury. Mm-hmm. I have PTSD. And I'm just, I'm trying to figure out how do I help the world. That's all I'm really here to do.
I think that's all any of us are here to do.
You can figure out at some point in your life what your calling is, right? So as a 20-year-old fuck-up, I left for basic training. I was great in the military. It was my calling. I was good at it. I got tied up with a girl that kind of fucking pulled me astray, but I had my son, who I don't have, he's not legally my son. When it happened, she asked me to give up parental rights, and I did so. Because me and her had split up, and I had never met him, and, it is what it is. He's amazing. He's in the Navy. He looks exactly like me.
Really?
Yeah, he's a fucking stud. Kid's a stud. He's like me before my hair went away. But,
I see a second podcast coming.
the kid's a fucking stud. He's doing well for himself. It's just, you gotta push through all the bullshit. So like, you go abusive, bounce around type of hot potato childhood to the military, which is a hot potato bounce around kind of world, to coming home, and then I walk into Hooters on Airport Road, normal night out with the boys.
Which is reopened now.
It is, by the way. But last time I went there for takeout, 15 years later, we're on the same deed to this house.
Boom. Shout out to Hooters.
I did meet my wife as she was my waitress at Airport Road.
No shit.
Yeah.
That might beat my story.
Yeah. she had just gotten out of college and she was heading towards teaching full time, and she found something for the in between. And
So waited for years, man.
yeah, and you know,
I applied at Hooters. They didn't want me.
me either. I don't have a problem. It's just
Tried
an
like
issue,
hell.
though.
I slept with two of the owners.
Chess is a real issue. But yeah, we met in there, and I was working at the ACI at the time, and you know, it is what it is. Here we are, 15 years later this week.
You guys are fucking adorable together.
She's been my workout partner for 15 years.
I don't know who's in better shape. It's really, I don't know who's leaner.
She is.
I don't know.
Absolutely, dude. I ain't even eating birthday cake for fucking years. I don't even give a shit anymore. I'm like, COVID. I gotta wear my mask outside.
I got a COVID appetite.
Fucking Christ. Now, you know, lately, though, we've been pulling it back together, both of us. We're trying to get back on meal plan and fucking, you know, we're in the gym every day. But
Are you guys still going to health tracks over here?
yeah. I'm not a workout at home kind of person. I can't deal with it. Like, I tried.
I'm wondering
really
if I
did.
should go back to the gym. I've never injured
I
myself
miss
in the
your
gym.
face.
I've never injured myself in a gym.
I miss your face and...
Brianna's.
Never mind.
There's a lot of things to miss on my wife.
Pick one. Whatever.
I know.
She's beautiful. It's fine.
My wife is absolutely. I tell her all the time she's perfect.
Love
Brianna,
you.
you're perfect.
Love you.
We both love you.
So,
I see a swing coming up.
Jesus Christ, you don't even know. There's one time in 2010, all right, we went on a cruise with my parents for our anniversary, right?
Tell me you didn't swing at your parents.
No.
Jesus
What the
Christ.
fuck is wrong with you?
Where's this going?
Come on, bring it back. Bring it back.
I'm bring the fishing reel
So
back in.
we go on the cruise with my parents. They pay. It's our anniversary. It's our wedding present. Whatever. Blah, blah, blah. We go on a cruise. We hook up with this couple from Toronto. They want to be friends. They want to hang out.
We hooked up a
We're
couple
cool, right? No,
on
we
a
didn't hook up
honeymoon
with
in Toronto.
shit. We didn't hook up with shit. Time out. Every guy at work knows this fucking story, and it goes around like wildfire. Like, this story is fucking crazy. We go on the cruise. We're hanging out with these people on the regular. Blah, blah, blah. They're cool, whatever. We get to the end of the cruise. They're like, oh, you guys got to come up to Toronto. Now, I'm a George St. Pierre fan.
Mm-hmm.
We've been to Montreal half dozen times to see GSP fight. We saw his last fight against Bisbing when he knocked his bitch ass out at
Guy's
Madison
awesome.
Square Garden for middleweight. No, is that light heavyweight, middleweight? Regardless. So we come home and we hear from them, and they're like, "Oh, you guys want to hang out? We'll show you Toronto. Blah blah blah. You come up, whatever." I'm telling this story on tape.
I wish I had a piano.
We drive up to Toronto, which is 10 hours from here. We get there, everything's cool. They're like, oh, you know, we're going to hang out, we're going to get drunk, fucked up, whatever. This turned into a complete fucking swinging dumpster fire that we had no idea we were walking into.
You know what you drove 10 hours for?
We get there and we're hanging out, we're drinking, we're taking shots. They want to like bang shots immediately. I'm like, man, these dudes want to
they're loosen you up.
They want to watch me sleep.
Why don't you go upstairs, shave your asshole?
Yeah,
Go ahead, chill out.
Yeah. Go ahead, go take a rest. We're fine.
Here's some Nair. Go clean yourself up.
So then the next thing I know, the husband's asking me, he's like, oh, we're going to go to the store, we're going to get more beer. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So while we're going, this chick is telling my wife how much me and her have a connection. Like,
Oh,
me
that's
and
how it starts.
Me and this, me and this, me
They're
and
planting
that.
seeds.
And she's like, by the time they get back, I walk in the house and I'm like, hey, what's up? We're back, blah, 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 blah. My wife is as white as this fucking light that's shining in my face right now. I swear to God, she had seen fucking Jesus. She saw Satan. She saw something. This girl was petrified.
Scared
And
to
I'm like,
death.
what the fuck is going on? Because, you know, so she's like, can we go talk? And we go upstairs, we talk. She's like, the whole time you were going, she's talking about how you and her have this connection, and you know, you two need to be together, and you have to have this moment, and this, that, and the other thing. We come back down from the room. The couple is dancing in the living room, but homegirl's got her pants around her fucking ankles, thong out, ass cheeks up, like they're ready to go. So the two of us are like fucking grabbing our luggage like thieves in the night and trying to fuck. She gets me up in the room. She's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I'm out. I'm out on all of it. I'm like, all right, we gotta get the fuck out of here. So, all right, we're sitting there, and she's hysterical because this is not normal. Okay, this is not actual normal behavior where people are like, "Hey, we're all gonna fuck each other." No, that's gross. That's
I would
weird.
think it's normally talked about ahead of time before they make
You
you
would
drive
think
10
there was
hours.
a pre-plan to the 10-hour drive plan, which
Yeah.
leads you to having weird fucking orgies with strangers.
I'm telling you right now, what would happen? What would have happened at some point is that dude would have came on to you at some point.
Yeah, I
They're out in
think.
the woods, bro.
Yeah, no. Well, you know what? If he did, he did. I'd have said no peacefully and gracefully. Listen, it is what
Bad
it is.
publicity, still publicity.
Yeah, no. I'm not like grossed out by it. Like you got to do what you got to do. You do what you do. It's fine. Everybody does what they do. It's not for me. Like I got mine in there. She's good. We're good. We're fine. Everything is good. But we get back and she's fucking petrified, and I'm like, oh my god, what is happening?
Like,
And
did they
she's like,
slip
I
you
want to
something?
go. She's like, I'm not sharing you. I want to go. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is fucked up. Like something bad is happening. So we're wrecked because all they wanted to do was shots the whole time we were there. So now, so now I'm in their front yard. He parks behind me to box me in the driveway when we got back from the liquor store. So I got like, what did I have at the time? I want to say I had like a Honda Civic. So I get back just far enough to fucking bang left and just drive over their front lawn and pull right out over the grass. And she's in the window. She's like, "You guys are drunk. I'm gonna call the cops." And my wife's like, "Fucking slam on it." And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm fucking half in the bag. I'm like, listen, this is
And
not
you're in
okay.
Toronto.
This is not okay. I don't make a habit of driving drunk. Like, as a matter of fact, I shy away from fire department functions because I'm afraid of getting pinched.
Yeah.
Like, that's a long ride home. But at that time, in that moment, my wife is fucking freaking out. I'm like, all right, hey, we're going. Here we go. We made it to Hojo in fucking like
Howard
right
Johnson.
on the Niagara Falls, like right on the
It'll
line.
do. Fuck it.
So that's all she said to me all night. All night. She was in her own post-traumatic stress. Like she was so fucked up. And every time she mentioned it, I start laughing just as hard because I'm like, this is not real life.
So-
this is a fucking clown
So here's
show.
here's what we need to do. When we do get together,
Yeah.
at some point,
Oh my god.
I'll have you guys over our house.
She'll cry.
Me and Brianna will start. We'll feed you guys shots. We'll start dancing in the living room.
She's gonna cry. She's gonna cry, and you guys are gonna feel bad. But then
listen,
we'll move on.
If the girls don't listen to this show, what we should coordinate is get them drunk and let them check each other for deer ticks. Look, I don't need to be involved. You don't need to be involved.
Opposite corners.
Yeah, we're just
Opposite
at that point.
corner.
We're at the IMAX, just watching a movie.
Yeah, 60 feet apart. Social distancing
Yeah,
is
six-
at least
6 feet apart.
50 feet apart. Okay.
That seems more normal.
I can't.
I'm not gonna ask you to drive for 10 hours.
Oh, no, you live like 15 minutes up the street. We're good.
I know, I'm not far at all.
But we need a movie theater. So, well, luckily, I think there's going to be one out of business right over near the gym anytime now.
I know, dude. I don't know how anything's holding on around here, and then they're already starting to roll back
I feel
with the restrictions.
so bad. Like this is so.
Unnecessary.
Yeah. I don't want to say like totally unnecessary because so many people have died, but on the same token, it's like you've weaponized this.
Yes.
You turned it into something ugly. You turned it into something to make people afraid. Like you got people that are afraid to go out of the house with a mask on. You still got people driving around in
Driving
the car
with masks on.
a mask on to this day.
I have not worn a mask except me and Brianna will still walk into stores without masks on and not put it on until they tell us to.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
I'm
you're-
confident in my health.
You're a super spreader. Well, let's break that down.
Super spreader.
Let's get to what we're here for.
Okay, all right, so listen, Lareto, in every show I have a hard left.
Hard left.
This is like a thing. So this is the hard left of the show. Now we're going to get down to the conspiracy stuff.
I am an evil conspiracy theorist.
I can't wait. Is it weird that I'm aroused?
Listen, this whole thing is just as, ugly as they say it is. It takes old people, it takes the compromise. But for those of us who are normal and functioning and whatever the case may be, our survival rate is like 99.8%. The lowest survival rate, which is I think 74 plus, is like 98.4.
What's the flu?
Very comparable.
Yeah,
Very comparable.
It feels like a chest cold.
It's just the thing is that I think this led to the greater good, which was the mail-in balloting.
I think this was. So I said last week on the show, I haven't even edited or released yet, that my suspicion was that COVID was set upon the world. It had to steamroll its way across the continents as a way to force the mail-in ballots, which has led to the election and ballot fraud, which we're now experiencing, which is going to get overturned in Supreme Court. Am I wrong?
For those of you who don't follow,
This is the oracle with this. Okay, you're talking to the man right now.
Hunter Biden has been accused of a lot of things. And these aren't just accusations. These are things that the Chinese government has been posting all over the internet for the past month and a half.
Yeah.
And I've seen all of it.
And nobody's talking about it.
This is a guy who loves to do meth and loves to
Hold that up.
have sex and loves to take pictures of his dick. That's what Hunter Biden is.
Before we go any further, the dude's got a pipe. I'm going to give him credit.
Listen, a wiffle ball bat is a wiffle ball bat, and the kid's swinging for the fence.
Okay, there's penises, and then there's cocks.
He's all right.
This guy belongs in a stable.
If I had it, I'd take pictures of it too.
It's true.
But
I would take pictures of it.
But the problem is
Not
is
yours,
that, like,
mine.
there's all sorts of shit out there, and it's all fact. It's not. They're like, oh well, this is propaganda. There's no propaganda. Russia ain't trying to fuck with us.
No, they're not.
Vladimir Putin has Parkinson's and is deciding whether or not to leave office. Like, that's a different situation. Like, those people don't care about us. China, like, that's a different situation.
What percentage?
They're the ones releasing all this evidence on Hunter.
Yeah.
Which means that's all the dirt they have on Joe.
Yeah. Yeah, it's this is just a prequel. Like, I feel like what we're seeing right now with what's been released is literally the trailer before you actually get to watch the major motion picture.
Listen, I am a follower of certain internet movements that may be, just right of center. I'd say it's just right of center. Like, there's information out there if people want it, and they'll give it to you.
Yeah.
And you gotta figure it out. And there's a million people out there ready to figure it out. But the fact of the matter is so much of this shit has come true that you can't ignore it at a certain point.
I'm gonna say conservatively, 80 to 90% of the things that you have sent me have come to fruition within days to a week later.
And that's the thing. They want to put it on the news, and they want to talk about conspiracy, this, that, terrorists, this, that, their hate group. No fucking hate, dude. I could print out the picture of you with a mission statement right now. The whole fucking deal in this is get information, give information. Let people know what they don't want you to know.
I think
Put it out.
I think what you and I are discussing, or about the part of the conversation we're about to embark on, I think a lot of people need to realize is that it is so far from the norm, from what we're used to as American citizens. The bullshit partisan politics, what a lot of friends of mine refer to as the two-party hoax. I think that Trump is so... Nobody was prepared for Trump to win the election in 2016. Nobody was prepared for that. Nobody thought it was possible. It was funny. You had texted me this too. I went back and I watched some of the coverage of the 2016 election, and to watch everyone's dismay and the way the public responded, the way the media outlets responded. Nobody was prepared for this. Now, that
wasn't
being
supposed to win.
No, he wasn't. He was not supposed to win. But that was the silent majority. And if someone came to me right now and said, Steve, would you bet your life that Trump is going to win this election? I would, because I have to hold confidence and faith in our judicial system, the Supreme Court, the fact that Biden and Obama tore Clarence Thomas the fuck apart, okay, to discredit him, drag him through the mud, the same way they did with Brett Kavanaugh.
Don't forget what Kamala Harris did to Brett Kavanaugh.
I remember.
She tore that man's soul out and made him out to be something fucking vicious.
Talked about his virginity. They brought up the fact that he didn't lose virginity to
Listen,
these conversations in front of his wife.
I'm not even really partisan even at this point. I'm a supporter of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
The man.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, oh well, he's shady, this, that, his kids are shady.
Why is he shady?
This, that. He's a man who's not to bend the rules. Like, he let his tax report get out like that, his tax returns get out like that, because everything in there is within the law.
But,
and then it came out a couple weeks later that Biden came out and he paid half of what Trump paid. And people are like giving me shit on the internet, like, oh, you post this conspiracy theory nonsense. No, rich people don't pay shit.
No,
That's how this country works.
No, it is, and I'll say this as someone who's owned a business, and I've seen on a very macro level how it works when you own a business. Now, I know how hard it was for me to pay myself, how expensive it is, okay, to cut yourself a check. So
you're at the bottom of their.
My imagination is if you're at that big tech level, big pharma level, you have so many hundreds of millions of dollars in write-offs. That you don't pay taxes because you've eaten losses. And I want to point something else out. As a business owner, a former business owner, you start to look at when we were growing up. You had Almax, Kmart, or, Zayres, Caldor, Lechmere. Yeah. Okay, all these stores that came out of nowhere, became something, and all died. Every business has a life cycle. The only way you survive is a constant influx of capital infusion. You get investors, you go public, like the Zuckerbergs and like the Apples. You get these major companies, but the only thing that keeps you alive is if you keep convincing people to give you their money. Yeah. That's the only way you stay alive in business. So for Donald Trump, a lot of people have said, well, he's filed bankruptcy so many times, this and that. Do you understand, like, I filed bankruptcy because of a lawsuit with a business partner. It was a strategic move to get out of Superior Court to bankruptcy court.
He is the only president in recent memory that has lost personal wealth.
$1.5 billion.
Lost. He lost on his bottom dollar.
Look what Gianna Raimondo was worth. What, $8 million when she started?
Obama.
I know.
Obama's a millionaire. 80, 90 times over.
Mm-hmm. He's worth like almost $400 million from what I understand.
It's just, it's the
Trump's
process
lost money.
As it is. He's the first president that's lost significant personal wealth. And they treat him, where's the racist statement? Oh, he kept kids in cages. Okay, let's get to that. Let's talk about that real quick. Obama built those cages.
Yes, he did.
Those were his orders. There's pictures all over the internet of him walking through that facility on inspection. Obama built those cages for whatever reason he did, and then Trump used those cages because he didn't know what kids coming over that border were there to be trafficked. Mm-hmm. Trump's end game is child trafficking.
Yes, it is.
Which is why I ride or die with him. Mm-hmm. That's my end game with Donald Trump.
Expose the ring across the world.
To wreck child trafficking worldwide on any level, no matter how it stands. And he said it, and nobody listens, or they don't, or they do listen. But his greater personality just disgusts them.
Yeah, and that's
what it is. He's a huge turnoff to some people.
Listen, and I went through this. I get attacked on Facebook constantly by guys I grew up with. I've had people unfriend me because I support Donald Trump. But the fact of the matter is, tell me one reason you're not voting for him. Tell me why you're voting for Biden other than the fact that you don't like Donald Trump.
Because of what the TV tells you. Mm-hmm. Mainstream media is a real fucking problem right now.
MK Ultra, look that up.
Seriously, Roseanne Barr talks about it. There's plenty to talk about it out there. MK Ultra leads to Project Mockingbird, which was basically a CIA project to use TV to mind fuck everybody. Mm-hmm.
They do it in Disneyland. It's all over the place.
Whatever they want. Disneyland is another fucking situation. But that's another joke.
We have more shows coming. You and I gotta sit down more.
We got so much shit. So, but yeah, it's but TV is basically like, what the fuck do you think it is? Whoever controls TV gets to pass whatever message they want onto you.
Can you tell everybody watching and listening to this who owns all the major news networks?
There's only 4 companies. There's 4: Viacom, Comcast, Disney, and one other that's fading me off the top of my head. But the power structure in those companies is the same power structure as there is in the world. Mm-hmm. It's the same people. It's the wealth, the money.
And think about, you know what's funny? I only recently, a couple of years ago, I watched the movie The Book of Eli.
Yeah.
And the relevance of that movie in comparison to what's happening in society now is everyone in that movie, The Book of Eli with Denzel Washington, is...
God, I love Denzel Washington.
I love Denzel Washington.
Fucking amazing.
He's such a straight up fucking human being.
Every movie he's ever been in is amazing.
Just dope. The guy's awesome.
And he's like, I don't believe any of your bullshit.
Nope.
He's
completely anti-establishment.
You make yourself what you make yourself to be, and that's what it is.
Completely takes ownership of his own actions, his own outcomes, whatever he has and doesn't have.
He's fucking amazing.
In that movie, the whole premise of that movie is they're trying to get their hands on a copy of the Bible because the Bible is what controls the masses. What we're experiencing now, in my opinion, in society is the news is controlling all of our thoughts and the way we view the world, the way we intake information.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say who.
It's different. It's like it's turned into like a believe versus not believe type thing, which is really fucked up, man. I don't understand it. Like, I believe. I know somebody put me here. I know they put me here for a reason. Other than that, I don't give a shit. I'm just here to serve out that purpose.
So people like you and I know for a fact I'm here in some capacity. I'm 42 years old. I've had numerous fucking jobs. I've quit a ton of jobs because I can't stand being told how to think, how to feel, what to do, and so forth. I think I finally stumbled upon what I'm meant to do, help people get their message out and so forth.
Yes, sir.
That being said, those of us who accept the fact that we're here for a purpose, and we're here to both pay it forward, but to also help enlighten others.
And I approve this message.
Donald Trump and I approve this message. My phone just went off. I believe people like us who have figured that out, like our existence, there's a purpose, we've accepted what it is, and we're acting on that. I think we're the ones who are the enlightened. We're the ones who will be granted something greater when we leave this realm.
I figure at this point that I was aimed for shit. Anything I do above shit is fucking gravy at this point, right?
Yeah. I mean, if that's what
like,
you...
And the military, I was really good at it. The prison kind of fucked me up. That job ruined me because I'm a hypersensitive person and I don't trust anybody as it is. Which has, led me to be a human lie detector.
Yeah.
Like, I can smell bullshit from 6 miles away. But at the same time, it fucked me up. Like, you don't know. Like, you don't come out anymore. You're like, all right, this is my shell. This is where I stay, and I'm straight. You know, we're good. We'll stay in our safe zone. But the older I get, and the more I have like younger guys working under me, and like working with me, and I see them, and they see how they react to me, and I'm trying to push forward.
Yeah.
For whoever it matters to, I'm gonna push forward. Because I can. I don't have kids. My wife knows what I am.
Yeah, I don't have children either. I have 5 cats. Everyone knows this. It's embarrassing.
I got 2 dogs, 3 cats. They're up there probably looking at us through the windows right now.
Hey, by the way, I noticed you guys have new siding on the house.
Yeah.
New windows with no shutters. We're not doing the shutters either.
No.
I like it.
No. They're gonna make me pay for that.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
No,
it looks great.
That's extra overtime.
I'm really excited you wanted to do this outside. This is, I know the cameras can't pick
I'm
this
just
up.
waiting for the Fisher cats.
I'm waiting for something at this point. There's 2 piles of fresh meat just sitting here. But this looks like something straight out of like Deliverance back here. It's fantastic.
No, it's alright. It's just a lot of trees. A lot of wetland.
All right, so listen. So why don't we do this? You got your phone next to you?
You taking a time out?
No. You got your phone on you?
Sure.
What time is it right now?
Let's check. Beetle. I gotta pee anyway.
I gotta change batteries then.
6:20.
All right. Why don't we do this?
Time out?
Yeah, we're gonna take a time out. We're gonna take a bathroom break. We're gonna refresh our drinks. We'll be back. We had a pee break.
Yeah.
I needed it. I'm glad you said something. I needed it. The tip was starting to tingle.
Yeah.
That could be 2 different problems. I'm just gonna assume it's the wine.
It happens.
All right. So listen. So here's where my interest is going. What started you down? Because your interest in all this, I'm gonna call it conspiracy theory because that's how people are gonna relate to it. But your interest in it is what really got my interest going. Like I had like that topical like, oh hey, I see this, I hear this. I didn't really do too much homework, but then your interest and the depths and the levels that you went got me more into it. How did you start down this rabbit hole?
At a very, very young age in life, I was forced to deal with people on an ugly level.
Correct.
And I had to be able to determine what was ugly and what wasn't at a very, very young age. What was corrosive, what wasn't, what was damaging, what wasn't. And as I grew up, now I'm listening to the news, I'm watching the news, and I'd be the first one to tell you, Obama wrote me in. I voted for him twice.
Powerful speaker.
Yeah, man, he had his shit together. But the more you research and the more you look into it, the more you see that everything just doesn't add up. Like all of a sudden, like Trump doesn't owe any of us anything.
Mm-hmm.
This was a guy who had his billions already. He didn't know shit.
He was
didn't
all set.
have to do this. This was totally like masochistic for
He
him.
didn't need it
No, hell no.
on any level.
That's
He
what I'm
didn't need
saying. And it's like, this is a man who had his billions without, you know, any of that. And he jumps and throws his hat in the ring, and you gotta at least ask yourself why. Like, why is this
Wait,
guy?
hold on a second. Hold on. Why did this stop?
What'd you do?
It stopped recording for some reason. Okay, now we're back.
Nah, hey.
Do you know what's fucked? So that didn't pick up any of the sexual shit I just said to my mother-in-law.
Yeah, well, you know, it is what it is. It's dirty. What are you gonna do?
This is
for another
almost
show.
this is almost better. I'm wondering how much that didn't pick up, and I just came back with it didn't hear any of the sexual shit I just said to my mother-in-law.
It's fall. It's fall.
I didn't touch this goddamn thing. I don't know why. Anyway, so
Technology.
Adobe Audition stopped recording at some point. I didn't touch it. I just put us on a visual pause. But for those who heard the first comments back, I made a couple of sexually aggressive comments to my mother-in-law. But in all fairness, she started. Am I wrong?
No.
She started it.
It was totally provoked.
Okay, so let me just do a quick 2-minute recap. We were talking about what piqued his interest in the whole conspiracy theory realm, and we were just getting deep into how President Donald Trump did not need any of this. He did not have to run for president. He had made his billions. He was successful. He didn't need the bullshit, the aggravation, having the bullseye on his back. And that's where we're going. So I'm sorry. Please continue.
No, it's you know the story. It's the guy who didn't have to take any of this.
Nothing.
Like, there was no good reason for him to do this.
All it did was hurt him so far.
And he's lost, you know, personal gain, and which is something totally irrelevant for American politicians, because all they do is gain. Like,
He's lost, and they've all gained around him.
Obama's gained millions and millions,
A couple
and
hundred
millions
million.
and millions and millions and millions of dollars just because he was president.
That's it.
Like, and that's how these people get by. But you know, this guy didn't have to. He didn't have to. Like, he saw something that was bad enough. And that's like now, like to this day, I'll bet you my next paycheck that he's going to be the president come February.
Oh, absolutely.
And there ain't a damn thing you're going to do about it.
How much shit do you catch on Facebook?
I don't fucking care. You know what? At this point, I've been abused in so many different angles that your words on Facebook don't mean shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's people that I take it wrong from, and that's my cross to bear. I'll deal with them on my own level.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I'm just trying to help somebody see something that they refuse to see.
Mm-hmm.
Like, TV is cancer at this point.
Yes, it is.
Anything you see, like Anderson Cooper, for example.
Who's he the child of?
Are you familiar with the Vanderbilts?
I am.
Okay. He is Gloria Vanderbilt's son.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? This is a guy that's at the top of the 1%.
Mm-hmm.
Top, tippity top. But he's the one everybody's listening to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't get that they're pushing their agenda on you, because it doesn't come across that way. But a globalist agenda is a real life thing,
Of course it is.
And they're trying to, this whole COVID thing. Like, okay, Biden won, so let's have parties in the streets. Now, mind you, these are the same people that have been telling you for the past 8, 9, 10 months. Mask on, social distance, mask shaming, blah, 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 blah.
Did you get that text on your phone yesterday from John Armando?
No. I do anything in my power to avoid her at all levels.
I can't stand her. I'm trying to be polite about
The
it.
minute I found out that she is in consideration for a cabinet position with Biden, I knew this was going to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
For us, as Rhode Islanders. And it has, 100%.
One of the reasons that if Trump...
We are one of the bottom 6 states in the country right now because of this whole fucking thing. Mm-hmm. And listen, I'm a first responder, okay? I'm a cardiac, I'm an EMT, I'm a fireman. I don't want to see anybody sick. I don't want to see anybody die. Those things hurt me. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want that. But they've turned this into something else. They weaponized this.
Of course they did.
From day one. Because they're like, okay, well, the the elderly and the respiratory compromised are most susceptible. Okay, well, why are you pumping the shit on the news 24 hours a day and scaring the shit out of people? Because it's a scientific fact that scaring the shit out of people will lower their respiratory drive. So you're pumping this shit over the news 24 hours a day, knowing full well that your biggest audience, which is probably the elderly who sit back and watch the news all day, every day, because that's where they get everything from, you're killing these people.
Yeah.
And then they start fucking herding them into nursing homes, and that's the end of it. That's 5 states that did that, and those governors will be held accountable when the time is right.
Even Governor Cuomo that's writing books on how to handle COVID.
Andy Cuomo, this other mouthy ass from Michigan who can't help but stick her face into everything, who had mind you, if you go back and look at one of her interviews, she's got those, those little kid blocks.
Yeah.
She got those little kid blocks on her desk, but they say 8645. 4 blocks are stacked up. It says 8645. What does that mean?
I'm not familiar with
8645. Who's 45?
President?
Donald Trump is 45. 86 means what?
Get rid of.
Take out.
Yeah, take out. Yeah.
She's got this shit in little kid blocks next to her on the desk during her interview.
I need you to send me that picture so I can run it in
Absolutely.
I can edit it into this video. That'd be great.
This interview was on a major network, and she had the 8645 on the desk right next to her.
Subliminal messaging.
He is the Antichrist to these people.
Because he's going to expose them for all the shit that they've been pulling off for decades.
Well, look at what's happening right now. Look around you. Look at the optics alone. Is the Democratic Party acting like a party that just won an election?
No.
They're already at each other's throats.
But I see AOC is looking
They're
to get
all
out of
ready to
politics.
filibuster Ocasio-Cortez's spot so that she gets pushed out of fucking Congress. Because it's her fault, because she's an extreme progressive. And now the moderates want to fight back against her. Listen, these people have totally weaponized their positions against the American public.
For anyone who's not really into politics, the only thing I would suggest is this. Tell me one person who's in power who's interested in losing power. I'll just put it that way. Is that a wrong way to kind of summarize this?
No, you look at it, even on a state level, like you look at Cicilline, Langevin, White House, these are staples. Rhode Island's its own enemy. I don't.
Yes, it is.
I can't even argue for this state anymore. But as far as the country goes, you're in a situation right now where you have 6 battleground states that are all legally contesting the results of the election. Yet you have this man claiming the presidency in a public forum, got all of his people dancing in the streets. Ain't shit been solved yet.
Nothing's been
Not
certified.
a fucking thing. This dude is not the president-elect. He will not be the president-elect. Because if you look at the stuff I've sent you, which could be, I don't know how far down that road we want to go. I got into following the number 17, if you will, on a whole. And there's a lot of information coming through the internet these days that people want you to have.
That's the problem with what they're trying to do right now. You can't hide information anymore.
And the thing is when you talk about the information and the passing of information, why would somebody do that? And people are like, oh, well, it's fucking nonsense. Why would he do it that way? What did the mainstream media do when the news about Hunter Biden's laptop came out?
Nothing.
Shut the fuck down.
They shut it down.
Shut it down. This is information that has been confirmed by the FBI. This is information that
Confirmed by Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah, mind you, the guy who was everybody in the country's fucking hero in 2001, but now he's a scumbag for whatever reason or another. These people turn on everybody. This cancel culture is fucking nonsense.
Jackals.
Like, seriously, blow me, cancel me. I don't care. I don't have anything. I'm nothing. I'm nobody. But you people are full of shit.
Yes, they are.
Like, you're talking about a bunch of people who sit back in their ivory towers and judge everybody else while they live their life. And now, like, I was watching a bunch of Matthew McConaughey videos today. He's kind of center-right, and he's talking about today how he personally experienced, like, walking up to the stage during award shows and looking out at the crowd and seeing people that he knew, that he had broken bread with, that wouldn't clap for him because they were afraid they might not get their next movie role.
Yeah.
Okay? So now we know what kind of people we're dealing with on that end. They're all scumbags.
Talking on both sides of your mouth,
These
just
people,
pieces of shit.
like, we go back to, like, talking about Project Mockingbird back in the Kennedy days. TV is a mass mind control device.
Of course it is.
People like Anderson Cooper and Wolf Blitzer and Chris Wallace and all these undercover fucking scumbags. Like, Anderson Cooper's a CIA agent.
I keep hearing that.
They ask him about it in an interview and he laughs it off like it's a joke. He had no journalism experience before CNN made him a lead anchor. None. On one of the biggest news channels in the country. None. Just Gloria Vanderbilt's son. That's a whole nother situation that we might need to save for another podcast with the whole, Pizzagate,
Save some of that.
all of
Because
that.
I feel like that deserves its own show.
I feel like if we, there's a lot of bad people in the world doing a lot of bad things, and they make a lot of money, and they have a lot of fame and a lot of power and a lot of influence.
I want to give you my opinion on something. I feel as though Hollywood, a lot of movies in Hollywood are literally talking about the same exact things we're discussing right now, but they do it on a theatrical level.
Yep.
So people think, well, it's only in the movies. Well, it's only in the movies. That can't really happen. That's only in the movies. I'm a firm believer in what we see. You look at such movies like Jennifer's Body, where there's a band. There's a movie with Megan Fox. There's a band that sacrifices her to Satan because they want to hit fame, fortune, make it big. I mean, you look at like these things are in everything we're discussing. It's like they throw in your face all the time to make it so like, that would never happen. It's in the movies. It's a cliche at this point.
You try to normalize it.
Correct.
But then you hit that wall like Netflix did with Cuties, where you push it over the line.
Yeah, that was a little much.
And you lose a couple million subscribers, and you really take it in the shorts. But then you still got to stand by it because that's the cross you bear at that point. They're trying to normalize this shit because there's a lot of people with a lot of money in this country that are really into kid skin.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the road you want to go down right now, because that's the road that brought me down this road.
That's what started you down
The
this whole
child
thing.
trafficking and the pedophilia is what dragged me down this road in the first place.
I'm going to tell you something that's really sad, is the fact that the only way you find out that hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kids in 2020...
800,000 a year.
Well, no, so that's the number that go missing. I'm talking about the kids who were actually saved this year. Hundreds and hundreds of kids across the country saved. You saw nothing about this on national news networks. The fact that I have to find out what's going on from people like yourself, me, people who share things, videos, and stuff like that you see on Facebook. Facebook has become not only the fucking root of the problem, but the only way to actually pass around real fucking news.
Well,
it's disgusting.
Zuckerberg's about as sketchy as they come.
Bro, that guy's
He's
an
like
alien.
a fucking robot.
Yeah, he's like a fucking alien. Tell me that guy's not a victim of MK Ultra.
His wife owns a cannibal club in LA where they serve human meat.
Nobody will believe that either.
I'm telling you right the fuck now. Go look it up.
What's funny is people will sit here and say cannibalism, do that in this country. There are parts of this country, parts of this planet, where cannibals are a real fucking thing because their only choice is to eat human beings. That's a real fucking thing. So to think that that what we're talking about is fake, it's bullshit, it's conspiracy theory, you're out of your mind. You need to open up your eyes, because the fact that Donald Trump is the president of the United States leads me to believe anything is possible.
Yeah,
Literally anything
there's
is
some
possible.
kind of intervention at this point. Like these people need to be fucking saved by themselves by an orange person. I like the guy. Listen, he's been accused of a lot of things. The majority of those things I've been able to personally go back on my own. And like, well, he was friends with Epstein. Well, go back and fucking do half a bit of research.
Yeah.
Okay?
He wrote him off.
The guy they're both Florida real estate moguls. They're going to travel in the same circle.
Both live in Key, where they've got places down Key West, Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah. Once Epstein took a fucking chase at like a 14-year-old member at Mar-a-Lago, like one of the members' daughters, Trump wrote him off. He canceled him. He was done. He was done with him. He's like, you're fucking gross. I'm all set with you.
You know what kills me is Trump is in the best position out of most people on the face of this earth right now to go after all these fucking people and these networks and the pedophilia and the cannibalism and all the bullshit that goes with it. he's in the best position possible because he's lived his life around these people
Yep. He knows them better than anybody.
better than anybody.
How many
And
times has he
doesn't
been
owe
on
them-
Oprah Winfrey?
And he doesn't owe them anything. That's what people I don't get. He doesn't owe them anything. All these people owe their money to somebody. They've done something.
He always said when he was running for office, I can't be bought by lobbyists.
Mhm.
He still doesn't have lobbyists to this day. He's four years into office. He don't have any lobbyists.
You know what's
Because people have to either deal with directly with him or with his underlings. But he's not gonna. I heard he even doesn't take fucking meetings with lobbyists anymore.
No, he probably doesn't.
Like, he sends his underlings to go get the drift of it and bring it back to him. And if it's something even worth talking about, then he'll decide. But
What scares me more than what's happening right now with the election, because I'm confident that Trump is going to. I have to believe in my heart of hearts that a man who's been 2 steps ahead of the game for the past 4 years knew this was coming and is prepared for it. Now,
yeah.
that being said, the only thing that scares me is in 2024 when he's no longer eligible to be president, is are people going to wake up to what we're talking about, or are they going to remain asleep and just continue hating Trump for 4 more years and just move on to the next bullshit Democrat sacrifice that they throw out there?
Let's call it the Great Awakening.
I hope so. I really do, man.
So I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard. Through my channels, that's what I've heard it called, is the Great Awakening. Is what everybody's going to find out when this election's over. See, here's how this goes down. Right now, Joe Biden is the president-elect of the United States. Not one single credible news source, I said credible,
Credible. Not many.
has dubbed him such. This is a total fucking propaganda fucking scam
Brainwashing
to
people.
convince all you people that he's
Wow.
the president of the United States.
Yeah. They keep saying
And they're dancing in the streets. So what is this going to turn into in 2 weeks when they find out that he lost miserably?
yeah, and I think that's what's going to happen.
Immediate riots.
Mhm.
Immediate. And Trump's already planning for it.
That's why he swapped.
That's why he fired that guy today.
Tell
That's,
everyone what happened today. We talked about when I first got here.
Oh, what is it? What was it? The
Secretary of Defense
Yeah.
was relieved of
Well,
duties today.
He replaced him with a man that is very, very keen on the Insurrection Act, which means that when riots break out, you can actively use the military. You can activate
Martial
the
law?
military. Basically, it's martial law, but on a smaller scale. So you activate the military to take care of the riots, which he knows is coming because he knows he won, which is why he's been playing golf for the past 2 fucking days.
Thank you.
Because he knows it's in the bag.
He's not sweating this
I'm
at
trying
all.
to tell people this. Like,
They think we're nuts.
people on the right are fucking miserable right now. Like, they got their firstborn stolen. And I'm like, listen, calm the fuck down with that, because there's at least, there's what, 6 states that are being legally
7.
contested right now?
There's Arizona,
Georgia,
Nevada,
Arizona,
Michigan,
North Carolina, Michigan, Wisconsin,
Pennsylvania,
Pennsylvania,
Georgia.
and Georgia.
Yeah.
I think I already said. So 6-ish, 7-ish, somewhere in that neighborhood.
And I promise you, Trump won all 7 of those states.
I posted a video on Facebook yesterday. Probably 3 people saw it. It's a live feed on CNN. You saw it. Of Anderson Cooper. And he's talking to some guy about the election. And they got their little ticker going on in the background. And the ticker's running. And the ticker changes. Which it does. And then they have to change screens so that they can adjust their ribbon to the ticker that they just got from the national server. So the national server on the screen changes, and some guy, who I have to assume is a random hillbilly from the Midwest, because that's what his accent would lead me to believe, breaks it down second by second, and you see on the live ticker, the Republican candidate loses 560 votes, and the Democratic candidate immediately gains those 560 votes. In 1 second, live on national television.
Nobody. But the problem is,
Nobody's looking.
everyone thinks it's so far-fetched. You're a conspiracy theorist. You're crazy. You can't You're a snowflake. You can't handle you can't handle the fact that Trump lost. You're in denial. You're this. You're that. They're accusing people like you and I of being the same things that they've been for the last 4 fucking years.
You know the fact that you saw the post on Facebook the other day. Russia, Russia, Russia. 4 years of Russian collusion.
Yeah.
4 years, Russia was the only reason that Trump won this presidency in the first place. And now in year 4 or year 5, day 1,
There's no such thing.
You know, election collusion doesn't happen.
No,
Fucking,
you guys are bitter.
You're a loser.
Yeah.
Your guy lost. Just get over it. And you know what? It's what the fuck with this country? Like, everybody wants to bear their own flag. Like, everybody's like, oh, well, I'm this, so I'm more important than you.
Yeah.
Or I'm this, so I'm more important than
Yeah.
you. Or I'm this, so I'm more important than you.
Yeah.
If you want to be equal, we're all equal.
Yeah, stop making
Get
distinctions.
Get on the line with everybody else. Go to work at fucking 8 in the morning. Come home at 4 in the afternoon, whatever the case may be, and just get on the line and go. We're equal. Let's do it. But now it's to the point where everybody's like, well, I want to be you, and then I want to be +1 because I'm not like you.
You know what? You realize after no, you're and something you said just jogged my memory. But you know what irritates me more than anything is we're all equal when there's a national tragedy. When there's we just had an earthquake here. What, yesterday?
Yep.
God forbid there was something horrific. I think what was the last major tragedy? 9/11?
Here in Rhode Island?
I'm just saying.
Or just locally? There's been a bunch of terrorist shootings, but
anytime there's
I couldn't name the last one.
something dramatic, something where there's a massive loss of life,
Yeah.
and it could have been any of us.
Yeah.
That's the only time we're unified. Other than that, we're all at each other's fucking throats.
Yeah.
And that is solely because of the mainstream media. They want us divided. They want what's currently happening right now. They need us at each other's throats because it makes what they're doing. Like, if we're too busy hating each other, you can't focus on the fact that we just fucking stole an election.
The most dangerous enemy is a united front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And as long as they keep us divided, we don't mean shit.
Let me ask you a question to relate what you just said to someone who worked in maximum at the prison.
Yeah.
Okay, what is the biggest fear of being a corrections officer?
Getting stabbed in the back.
What about so my best. Okay, number 2. When you have where there's a prison riot and you guys are grossly outnumbered because you don't have weapons.
Yeah.
What do you have when you're in there?
Pepper spray and a set of handcuffs.
Okay. So, and how many per one guard? How many inmates are you in charge of?
The block I bid to was Prudence 2 at maximum security was 99 inmates and 2 officers.
2 officers and 99 inmates. Now, at any moment, if all 99 of those people decided, fuck you, we're taking you out, what do? Right.
Stick your head as far between your fucking legs as you can and kiss your ass goodbye.
Now, that being said, you take what your career was at that time as a corrections officer. Now, if you're at the congressional Senate level, if you're the people who are causing this chaos,
Yeah.
don't you want everybody fighting amongst themselves so you can just fucking navigate your way through the bullshit and do it and
Try to be
complete
in
your
the right.
agenda? Yeah.
Try to be in the right, no
Yeah.
matter which way the tide turns. The thing is I was at the prison for 6 years. Those guys are motherfucking gangsters.
Mm-hmm.
I love all those guys. I have nothing but respect for anybody that works in that place. But for me, being stricken, if you will, already, and having hypersensitivity and not trusting anybody, working in an environment like that was fucking like
Torture.
the wick just went off every day.
Yeah.
Like, you're being lied to by everybody you talk to all day long. Let's see how long you can take it.
I'm
And
gonna
I don't trust anybody anyway, so it's like,
I'm going to tell you one thing I learned because all you guys shopped in my store when I was at Performance, when I had my place.
my whole shift.
I had
That's how I met you.
I had everybody from all you guys. You guys literally were supporters of that store. So for that, thank you. Number 2,
That's why I'm so fucking big.
one of the
180 pounds of thunder, baby.
twisted steel and sex appeal is what we call it. One of the biggest things I learned is spending a lot of time around you guys is that more of you complained about each other than the inmates.
Well, yeah, because we're a bunch of penny-wearing bitches.
But there was a lot of guys that just like the drama. And here's my complaint about this. Not a complaint, but my observation. Because you guys lived and died by overtime, quads, and so forth, you start to spend all of your time in a very barbaric, negative environment where everybody's cranky because all you're fucking doing is working,
Yep.
and then you can't help but to mentally, then physically and emotionally succumb to your environment.
Well, think about it this way. You said a quad. Quad's 4 shifts straight. That's 36 hours, right? Yeah.
32
I'm sorry,
straight hours.
32 hours.
32 straight hours.
Been a long time. But
Sure you
that's
miss it.
32 hours straight running a cell block, keeping account, being accountable,
Mm-hmm.
and then, they got to let you out I worked at Max. They gotta let you out through 4 locked doors before you can get out of the fucking building. I'm like, you gotta get in through those 4 locked doors. You gotta leave through 4 locked doors. You're in. Once you're in, you're in. And you know, you gotta live and die by the guys you work with. Trust the dudes you work with. Luckily at Max, during the time I was there was never an issue.
Yeah, you guys had a solid crew there.
We had the best brass. We had you know, Captain Ashton, Lieutenant Duffy. We had gangsters over there. We had guys that if they knew an inmate fucked with you, they were coming through and they were just gonna douche somebody up, and that was gonna be the end of it. Like, you don't get over on my staff. That's not how this goes. And once you know you got a boss like that, nothing afraid of anymore. Like out the fire department now, like now this is a different animal, you know. Every job's different, every run's different, everything's different. Well, whether it suits your strength or not, I'm the type of guy that needs to get into a fire and just do my job, whatever the fuck it may be. Like I'm a grunt. I'm a worker ant, if you will.
You're a soldier.
You know.
It suits you. You're a soldier, but you're good at it.
I was put here to make as many people's lives better as I can until I'm not here anymore.
Ask me if this is my assessment of you. After all the years you know each other, there are people, like you just referred to yourself as like a worker, like a worker bee, so to speak. I'm calling you a soldier, and here's why. There are people who want to be in leadership roles because they want to be in the limelight. I believe you're a born leader. You just don't really care for the limelight.
I want to make everyone around me as best I can.
You want to have an impact.
Whatever the case may be.
But that's a leader.
I want to leave the world better than I found it.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
You know what I mean? Like, people are like, "Oh, you're fucking crazy," this, that, and the other thing. These theories. I'm like, I'm just trying to inform you. I'm just trying to show you information that you don't know exists.
At this point, you're a vessel. You're a conduit.
And that's the thing. And it's like I follow a lot of things, and like, you know. There's guys like General Michael Flynn.
I love him.
Who is still being persecuted to this day.
For nothing.
Who reaches out to his digital soldiers every day, and he says, you press the word of right. You press the word of good. You do everything you can for your country. My grandfather fought in World War II. I fought in this war. I got feet on the ground in the Middle East 3 weeks before shock and awe happened. I was there, you know, and I got to do a lot of really amazing shit in the Air Force. Like that was a vessel for me to do protection for the president a couple times, protection for the vice president a couple times. I got a coin from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Oh, sure. Like I was in charge of his security detail, so the military suited me. And then when I came home to the prison, it was the same deal and the same, you know, motions, but now you're dealing with a different element. And you're being, you know, people are trying to push you around, and people are trying to, like, mislead you, lie to you, fuck with you. You know what I mean? Like, inmates, they're
all hustlers.
They'll tell you straight to your face. They got 24 hours a day to learn how to beat you. That's it. That's an inmate code. I'll tell you, there's 2 things I learned in prison. They got 24 hours a day to learn how to beat you, and it don't count in the joint.
It don't count in the joint.
You heard me.
I think you know what we're referring to.
So, anyway.
And don't text me afterwards. I don't need to be reminded.
I see what's happening now, and it rots my insides because you see...
What you fought for.
Yeah, well, that, and it's like... I guess I'm at that point in my life where you're like, okay, I was in the military, it was great, but ultimately I'm fighting for the American oil team, pushing through the Middle East. Well, that's not the case anymore.
Yeah.
Trump wants to make this the oil field. He wants to bring everybody home. This guy's ended like 5 fucking world wars that have been lasting for years. And years and years.
People just don't respect that. They don't understand it.
Well, no, because they don't cover it.
Yeah.
They don't cover it. This guy got nominated for 3 Nobel Prizes in a month. Nobody cares.
2 peace accords in the Middle East.
Nobody cares.
No, they
don't.
don't.
They don't care. Because they were told that this guy is a misogynist.
They care about racism.
And he's a racist.
And being politically correct.
Mind you, this is a guy that in the 90s ran one of the most successful boxing, you know, draws in the country, led by Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard, all guys that love Donald Trump.
But he's a racist.
Donald Trump got an award from Muhammad Ali's association not too long back for Man of the Year or whatever the fuck. Like, the minute this man decided to run against the establishment, he became the enemy.
And they made it that way.
Nobody hated him before.
Nobody hated Donald.
The Apprentice was the highest rated show on the fucking planet.
People put Donald Trump, they reference themselves as the next Donald Trump in their videos. They do that because everybody wanted to be him. Now all of a sudden, because he's tearing down that veil, that facade that we've all been living through for these decades and years, now all of a sudden the media has told you have to hate him. He's the wrong, he's the bad guy, he's this, he's been...
Think of it this way. If I pump to you that somebody's a piece of shit every day for 4 years straight, what are you going to think?
I would think he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to tell you how I know that's true. So my older brother told me the other day, we were talking about Boston sports media, like 103.7.
Yeah.
And listen, since the whole stop saluting the flag, I gave up on sports.
I quit sports cold turkey before the COVID started.
Yeah, I can't want nothing to do with it anymore.
I
Actually, today's the 9th, isn't it?
I tried to watch Michigan football. I think I caught like 3 minutes of the first quarter of their first game, and I didn't care about that either.
As of today, I can cancel my cable contract and just keep internet. I fucking hate cable. Cox Cable, you're getting 86th.
Blow me.
Just don't text me afterwards.
I got Verizon, but they can cancel my shit. Whatever. But
the media has literally changed. Oh, so go back.
Well, look at what's happening with Facebook and Twitter right now.
Oh, they're censoring people.
Dude, I am officially canceled on Twitter. I did it on purpose.
I don't blame you.
I just wanted to see how far I could go before it would happen. And I got suspended like 4 separate times, and I was like, okay, this is a game at this point.
You're
going to keep fucking testing me, then I'm going to keep pushing it. And it was when AOC said something to the point of, we should keep records of all the Trump supporters so that they could be held accountable.
Held accountable for supporting somebody.
I said, Trick, I wish you would. I wish you and your pink hat army would, because you will get the fucking shit slapped out of you. There are guys like me everywhere. Guys that fought, guys that are just trying to live the dream now. But if you so much as snap a finger, we will turn into something that will just fucking run you over.
She has no clue what she's fucking dealing with. She never has.
They're running her out already. Her
I know,
own
I
body's
saw.
running her out. They said they want to filibuster her district so that she doesn't have a job anymore.
For people
like,
who
the
don't know,
moderates are ready to run her out.
For people who don't know, what is the filibuster? What is a filibuster?
It's a really great question. To the best of my knowledge, it's like when they're all gonna just shut you down. They're not gonna pay attention to.
It's a professional cock block.
Yeah. It's like a huge fucking dick stomp, and basically all the moderate Democrats right now are trying to push her out because they said they're
saw that yesterday and today.
That's the thing. And I asked you. I said, are they acting like a team that's winning right now?
No.
They're
it's
eating
not
at
enough.
each other's
They want
throats.
more blood.
They're taking each other's throats right now because they know that it's only a matter of a couple of weeks, if that, before this all comes to fruition.
It's all gonna come to fruition.
And the thing is like, it makes me sad because I see good people that lean right out there that are fucking devastated right now. Like they just don't know what's gonna happen. And I'm like, motherfucker, pick your head up. It's in the bag.
It's not over.
And they look at me like I'm a fucking idiot. Like something like in my...
They
like I had a fucking
crazy.
stroke and something in the back of my head burst and now I'm having like a brain bleed and I can't think
My
anymore.
neighbor said it to me today. Emily, she my next door neighbor's daughter, she said, Steve, you lied to me because I told her Trump's not done. He's not done, I promise. Don't worry about it.
It's not even about him. It's like I got into him because I started following the Q posts.
Oh, Q, if you ask anybody about Q, you're crazy, you're a conspiracy theorist.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't either.
I really don't. And all the shit I've sent you alone, like this is something that gets proven right on a regular basis.
All the time.
And then you go to TV and they're like, well, they said John F. Kennedy was alive. And I go to the post where it says, somebody said to Q, is John F. Kennedy alive? And he said, no, you're fucking stupid.
Yeah, and then they do...
No. So that whole thing is like, would you like to believe that John F. Kennedy Jr. is alive? He was an amazing fucking human being who had all the potential in the world. I could only pray that he faked his own death. Is it real? It's not my... I don't
know, but I do know that the FBI had tipped them off that there was 3 credible plots to take him out. Why would you want to take John F. Kennedy Jr. out?
Well, he was running against Hillary.
Thank you. And it was when he disappeared that Hillary got into Senate.
That is a whole, like, I don't know how to explain this.
We have
in
more shows
words,
coming up, don't worry.
But that is the most evil human being on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
Without fucking question.
She is Satan.
Without
she is
question.
fucking Satan.
And there's at least 3 or 4 NYPD officers left that can attest to that.
Oh, and they saw the
9 out of 12 of them have committed suicide.
because they saw what
Because
was
they saw Anthony Weiner's laptop.
Yeah.
And that's a thing that nobody knows about, that nobody needs to know about.
I'm
not trying to break anybody down into that yet.
Listen,
if that comes out on its own, then so be it.
I'll tell you what I
don't even
saw.
know if it will.
I'll tell you what I
They'll
saw.
probably bag her for something else, just to hide
I saw a
that.
video come out of a woman tied, hands and feet tied, almost like she was going to be drawn and quartered, being skinned alive and cooking her while she screamed while she was still alive, like with a hand torch.
Yep.
Burning her fucking muscle tissue to cook her while she's still screaming after they skinned her fucking legs. They took her fucking skin off and they were cooking her alive. I watched, and that video within minutes was gone. I saw it twice and it just disappeared. And that was supposedly one of the videos that was on Anthony Weiner's laptop.
The thing is that you don't, like, I have people in my life that worship this woman, and you're trying to, like, break it down small, like a little at a time, so that you don't fucking hurt anybody. Because the information that's coming, the videos and the information that I've seen, this is with my eyes. I'm not some fucking asshole who's like, oh, I heard this rumor on the internet, so I'm gonna go spread it around. This is shit that I vet 3 and 4 and 5 times over. I'm following Russian search engines and Chinese websites, like, nothing illegal, but I'm reaching out, because outside of the American sphere is a whole different fucking sphere.
There's a reason we're allowed to access a certain level of the internet, but there's parts of the internet we are not allowed to see.
Well, supposedly on the dark web, there's a whole different level of gross that I don't even need to fucking expose right now. That's for another time.
Can I tell you that I've never been on the dark web, but I've listened to people talk about what they've experienced on the dark web. They go to mystery packages they have sent to them.
All I'm telling you is that 9 out of the 12 of the NYPD officers that saw Anthony Weiner's laptop killed themselves.
Yeah.
Killed themselves.
But if you say that...
Sidney Powell said that
Yeah.
in an interview. It's all over YouTube. I'm not making shit up.
Sidney Powell is also the woman who's representing Donald Trump in the Pennsylvania litigation.
She's the same woman that said today that they used, what the fuck was it, Hammer and
Project Hammer
Scoreboard?
and Scorecard.
Scorecard.
Project Hammer and
2
Scorecard.
computer programs that both fucked the election.
By the way, you probably can't find it right now, but I saved the video on my phone to an external device. The video of the programmer who actually created Scorecard.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So he literally said it's designed for use overseas to manipulate ballots and elections. So we can have the proper people in place throughout the globe to complete our agenda.
They tried to tell you what Biden has going on with China, with his son's laptop.
Nobody
release.
cares.
No, well, the problem is they're like, oh, Russian disinformation. And you're like, well, the FBI vetted it. So how's it? And they're like, Russian disinformation. And Adam Schiff, that fucking pedophile.
That piece of shit.
He's a fucking pedophile. All right, this is a guy, he's gross. Wait. Look at the fucking guy. He's gross. So, this is the guy, Russia. All this shit's been shot down for fucking a year now. Hillary paid for the dossier. Fucking Obama knew about it. Fucking Brennan knew about it. All these fucking scumbags knew about it. And they let it go anyway because Trump ain't one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this was all about. Yeah. This was about taking him out because he was a threat, because he wasn't one of them. And he turned out to be every single fucking bit of the threat they made him out to be. He is there to destroy all of them.
You said something when we went inside to use the men's room. You said something, oh God, let me remember it, that it's, the gloves are off. The first 4 years of his presidency, he had to pussyfoot around and kind of feel things out. Yeah, and then the next 4 years,
Second-term presidents don't have to play games.
No, they don't, because you're on your way out anyway. But once, I said this months ago, I said the reason he's being nice leading up to this election is because he has a strategy. I said this to my wife. I'll call her right now and she'll tell you.
Look at him right now. Where is he?
Golfing.
It's
golfing.
not a man who's afraid of where he's at in this world.
No, and I truly do believe that they are hell-bent on rigging this election because
Look what they turned Rudy Giuliani into.
I know the same guy who was
On
praised.
September 11th, these motherfuckers would have followed that guy into hell.
Yep.
They would have followed him into hell.
And people don't realize, I don't know if you remember this or not, but Giuliani's not only was like right next to George Bush through all of September 11th, 2001, but you go back prior to that, this is the guy that took down the Gambino crime family. New York hailed this guy. He was
American hero.
He was the second coming of Christ in New
Now
York.
he's the guy who's trying to rape little kids on Borat videos. Have you seen that fucking pile of bullshit?
Can I tell you right now?
Where he's trying to put his pants back in after he took his mic out.
I watched that whole movie.
Yeah, it's upsetting.
That was one of the worst fucking. And I'm not even saying I like the first Borat movie.
Listen, I was turned off by the first one because there's a scene where two naked dudes are smashing their dicks off each other's faces.
That was pretty gross.
It got a little aggressive.
Yeah.
I'm not even like whatever. If you want to do that in film, fine. But
Sacha Baron Cohen is such a bad actor. He has to go over the top with shit like that to make you laugh.
Yeah.
The guy's a fucking loser.
And even I listened to Rogan last week. And Rogan and Alex Jones.
Love Alex Jones.
Listen, that's a man who's right a lot more than he's wrong, but
He's
he goes
wrong
way
about
too
Sandy
far
Hook.
off the edge.
Yeah.
He goes way too far off the reservation and he pushes too far. But the 85% of what the guy says is right. But he goes too far, so he discredits himself.
Yeah, he does.
Like, I'm not talking about school shootings and all this other bullshit. That's fucking tragic. That's terrible. The last thing in the world anybody needs to have is dead kids in any fashion. No matter how the fucking case.
It's fucking horrible. It's horrible. I think what Alex Jones said at that point, you knew he was going to catch some backlash. I'm glad he didn't drop. Yeah, I'm glad he didn't drop off the face of the earth after that because the guy's right more often than not.
InfoWars is still a thing. Band.video is still a thing, and Band.video is a hell of a source if you want to go see the things that your news won't show you.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Those are videos. That's not him narrating. That's not him acting like a nutcase. That's just video from the world, whatever it may be. And he goes too far. And it's like I was listening to that podcast with him and Rogan. And Rogan's like, you just need a fucking guy in the room with you at all times to fact check you. And he fact checked him like 5 times. And Alex was right.
He was right every single time.
But he can't get right to it. He can't get right to his point and tell you where it is.
No, but here's in his defense, and you and I are doing it right now.
Yeah.
As you and I are talking, we're talking about one specific thing.
Right.
But that thing is directly linked to something else, which also, on the back end, comes back around to what we're talking about. So it's incredibly hard. This rabbit hole is so deep with so many roots to this tree.
Well,
it's very hard to stay on task.
I'm gonna give a source. Okay, if you want to know what Joe Biden is all about, just go to gnews.com.
You sent me that link. That's a great link.
It's a Chinese website. Don't let it freak you out. It's totally legit, but the Chinese print is on it.
They might try to sell
But
you
all
shark
the
fins.
videos are in English, and basically it's a breakdown of all of Hunter Biden's filth.
It is.
And how his own man is owned by the Chinese government, and that the fact that they have all this dirt on Hunter is all dirt on Joe. If they got videos of Hunter having sex with children, that's dirt on our president. Okay? That's influence over our president.
Tell them about the video of Pelosi's. Is that Pelosi's husband they had? With
No, his kid. Her kid.
Yeah, so Pelosi's son.
There's pictures out there of her kid.
Of him with a young Asian girl tied up. I don't want to get into it.
Yeah,
but
I could send you the link to that.
it's disturbing.
Basically,
it's real.
It's basically like saying, okay, well, Hunter's down, Paul Pelosi, you're next.
Yeah.
And it's a picture of him with a little Asian girl, and she's bound at all 4. Like, she's bound at the elbows and the wrists, which means I'm thinking somebody bled her.
Probably.
And that's the thing. Do we get into adrenochrome here, or do we leave that alone?
No, here's what I want to do. Cause I'm fucking freezing.
Want to go inside?
No, and I'm hungry too. Okay. But here's what I want to do.
I'm out.
Well, that and I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So here's what I want to do.
A wrap for tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to do a wrap for tonight, but here's what I want you to do. I want you to rattle off, let's do the next 3. What should we do? Pizzagate?
Pizzagate is deep. Yeah, that's a good one.
So, see,
Pizzagate.
let's set the stage for the next show.
Let's see. Pizzagate, I think, is going to be an issue. And as much as they want it not to be, the more of these people that go down. Think about all the famous people you know that have been charged with some sort of pedophilia in the past decade. From the Bill Cosbys to the Harvey Weinstein. It wasn't pedophilia, but he's a forceful rapist. And then just go down the track and think that this is much bigger. Jeffrey Epstein is the linchpin to all of this. And Ghislaine Maxwell is going to chirp like a fucking bird because she's an elitist and she can't spend the rest of her
What do you
life
think
in
they
prison.
have her right now?
She's in some fucking toilet in New York.
See,
Supposedly she's in some substation in New York City.
I was gonna say they don't have her in a regular prison. There's no way she would have been dead by now.
No. She's not allowed in Gen Pop.
Yeah.
No, they got to keep her separate. No blankets, no nothing she can kill herself with. Because you know Epstein, he fucking killed himself, even though it was the old fucking sheet from the doorknob, like anybody else that ever turned against the deep state. But you know that. If they kill me, nobody will ever know about it anyway. So fuck it, whatever.
So let's do Pizzagate.
Yes, sir. Whatever you're feeling.
I'm just trying to think what we could, because I really want to go, because I have a lot of fucking people.
I think we're going to need to get into how Trump won this election and why these riots are going on right now by the time you release this.
We could probably knock out 90 minutes with those two, right?
All this ends with Trump winning this election and riots happening immediately.
And that's
Immediate.
That's the whole fuck. And for those of you who weren't listening 15 minutes ago, and we said why Trump dismissed the Secretary of Defense, it's because the gentleman he just put in his stead is someone who's prepared to do what is necessary for what's coming in the next 30 days.
He knows the riots are going to be immediate. He knows he won this election. That's why he's playing golf.
I think
He
these
doesn't give a
riots are
shit.
going to be a lot worse than people expect.
The left lied to their base and told them they won this election.
Mm-hmm.
They gave them the hope of all hopes, and it's going to be ripped away.
Yeah,
and the riots are going to be violent. It's going to be bad. And
Yeah.
Trump's already prepping the Insurrection Act
Mhm.
so he can bring in active duty to fucking shut this down. But the fact of the matter is that all the left got duped by their own.
Yeah.
They knew they didn't win this election. Joe Biden knows he is not the fucking president-elect of the United States. That's fucking nonsense.
It's a joke.
Him and Kamala, who fucking, the woman who locked up 1,000 black men for fucking marijuana use, but when they asked her if she used, she giggled about it.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny.
Yeah.
This
She's a
guy's on
piece
their
of
third
shit.
strike for that shit because of you. It's gonna get ugly. It's gonna get ugly on the streets. Like, Trump wins, and they lied to you, and they lied to you because they want you to riot, and because they want you to take the streets, and they want you to be upset. Once we get all past this, is when we all come together. So
It's got to get worse before it gets better.
this is the darkness before the dawn.
Alex Jones said, what, 79 days of hell on the
10
Joe
da-
Rogan podcast.
10 days of darkness right now.
Yeah.
We talked about it. I told you, the calm before the storm.
Yep.
Tony Bobolinsky said he had a Q clearance.
Everyone thinks we're crazy. I got buddies I've grown up with that have given me so much shit online, and all I said was just patient. You saw the video I put up Wilson Phillips, hold on.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
I'm a big fan of Wilson Phillips.
You gotta play the part. You gotta go along with it, and you gotta try and give people as much as you can until it all comes out, and then you don't be a dick about it. You can't be gloatful.
I'm not one of those people.
Like,
Anyway.
I'm just gonna back off. Like, I don't want to see people suffer. I know what they're setting these people up for right now.
It sucks. It
They're
sucks.
setting these people up for the biggest pain of their lives.
Yes.
On purpose.
Mhm.
That's fucking unforgivable.
Yes, it is.
Like, these people are setting these people up to riot on purpose. They know they didn't win. They know they never came close to winning.
Mm-hmm.
They knew Trump was going to find out all the bullshit and it would all come to pass. But they already got these people all hopped up dancing in the streets thinking they won. And these poor people are going to go to war after this because they don't know any better.
That's going to be the Civil War.
Here we stand.
All
I'll
right.
stay in my house and wait it out because I got people I love on both sides that just disgust me.
Well, this is not a grim ending. At the end of the day, this is like, hey, listen, I torn my rotator cuff. I need to go in for surgery now. This is the pain before the prosperity. It's not a big deal.
No, we're all going to win. We just got to get through it.
It's like anything else.
Don't hate.
It's the same thing I tell my wife before sex. You just got to get through it.
Understand your neighbor and what it's like to take the biggest loss of all time and have to live with it, and just turn the other shoulder, turn the other cheek. You can't fight.
No, you brought up a good point too. Don't gloat. Like that's.
I want to see Trump supporters play the high end on this
I want to see
because these people are going to be in fucking agony, and it's not their fault.
I want people to realize that all of us united, all working towards the same thing, is exactly what the current establishment doesn't want.
Absolutely.
They don't want us unified, all working as one.
A divided people is easy to control. A united front is impossible to control.
No, thank you. That's why I asked about how many people you were in charge of in the prison. Because
Never.
this is on a large scale. It's the same thing. If you get the whole country coming at you.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, the harder we hold the line, the stronger we are for out. There's no doubt about that.
Do me a favor, tell the folks watching and listening where they can find you on Facebook, because I highly recommend, if you haven't educated yourself, you need to check him out on Facebook.
It's a little explosive. It's Lareto 13 at yahoo.com. It's Lareto 13 at yahoo.com. I'm on Facebook. I have recently been permanently banned from Twitter.
That's a good thing. That means he's doing something right.
I am on Parler at 3per13, and I am on Instagram at Lareto 13.
There's a lot of people who don't know what Parler is, including me up until recently.
Parler is the jam.
Tell me what Parler. Tell me what
Parler is the new Twitter.
Parler.
It is going to be the social media after Twitter is deplatformed for not being true to the First Amendment.
It's already started. Candace Owens is suing Facebook for
I've been on
fact-checking.
Parler for 6 months now, and the traffic is so high right now that you can't get on. So they're trying to update their server.
I get emails constantly.
Yeah. So Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino is a prior Secret Service agent. He's a contributor on Fox News. I hope he won't be much longer. But he owns Parler and Rumble, which is a YouTube site without the censorship.
Yeah.
So you have Parler, Parler, that replaces Twitter, and Rumble replaces
I hate
YouTube.
I fucking hate
Because
YouTube.
they are all part of the fucking problem.
You get censored. Do you know how many people put videos up on this topic on YouTube, and there's specific keywords they can't say or put in their titles because YouTube will shut you down. They'll demonetize you, and then shut you down.
Yep. Yeah,
That's called socialistic control.
they're willing to take it all away now if you don't follow the fucking rule at this point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hopefully I'll see everybody soon, and the world
By
will be in
hopefully-
a better place by then.
But hopefully it's. I'm trying to get him back on the show before Thanksgiving.
I'm down.
Cheers, brother.
All right, buddy. We got this.
Laredo, so listen, from another episode of the Bardi Shop, this like, I look forward to every single show, but you have literally, and I mean this with all sincerity, you haven't just opened my eyes to this, you've literally changed my view of the world and how I interact with it. That goes for me and my wife. Virtually everything you send to me, I kick over to my parents. My brother's into this now. So if nothing else, what I'm hoping to use this platform, this podcast for, is to get brilliant individuals and great ideas like yours out to as many people as I can. So just take comfort knowing that this will get viewed by a few thousand people on 3 different continents.
Just trying to help the world see something, baby.
That's all we're trying to do, man. That's it. Laredo, thank you so much for having me in your home. Your home is beautiful.
Thank
the dogs.
you. Thank all of you.
And again, yes.
There's Fisher cats out there. We got to get in the house before.
So when I was setting
up
up the lights and the shit and everything, there was something moving around back there. So if anyone caught the pee in my jeans, it's probably dried by now. Listen, man, for another episode of the Bardi Shop, thank you so much for tuning in, watching, listening. Laredo, thank you for your time. We'll talk to you soon, folks.
Yeah, we're going to be fucking huge.